So now that we've connected our hardware to our computer, we're going to follow these steps. So typically in each lab lesson, there's a 1, a 2, and maybe a 3, and you follow the directions as they go. This is verifying connections, and then you can either hit the next tab button, and or you could just click manually on the subject. Now what they're doing is prepping us to set up our electrodes. So I'm going to have my videographer come back and I will demonstrate setting up the electrodes. So depending on which kit you got and what order you got it in, you might get slightly different looking electrodes. I believe in nearly all of the kits we included these one single electrode units, and some we just had like a 10-pack each. So the way these work is they're just a sticky backing. You just take the backing off. This all gets thrown away eventually. And you're going to put your electrodes on the various places where they go here. So I'm going to put this one here. And now what I'm doing is I'm just following the instructions. This gives a video of where they all need to go. All right, so I got one on my arm. I'm just going to do one arm for this demonstration, and you'll learn once you've done your one arm how to do the second arm. So this goes way over here. And our goal with these two electrodes is to be touching various parts of the forearm muscle, because we're going to be measuring the forearm clenching. Okay, and from here, next thing we're going to do, actually, no, I'm wrong. I'm going to have you continue. So the next thing we do is you can back up, we need to connect the leads to the electrodes that I put on my arm. So the ground lead is the black lead, and these work, you can zoom in a little bit.
Okay.
These are, only one side works. You see, this is the back side of the electrode. That back side, and if you look at it from the side angle, you'll see they're slightly different, and this is the front. You have the back side backed up against where you're clipping it. So I'm going to clip it here. Usually you'll hear a little snapping sound. Same with this. So this back side backs up against the electrode. You see that? Okay, so I'm going to try to get the click sound going. No, it's quite quiet. You may or may not hear it. And then the white lead goes all the way up on the top of my forearm. Again, there's the back side, there's the front side. Back side backs up against the electrode. And sometimes you hear a click and sometimes you don't, but if you could zoom in, you can see how it looks once it's clipped on. It should be nice and solid. Okay, now you can zoom in here. Now I'm following my instructions. I need to get into my proper seating position. And then I click to the signal check. Now, I could hold a small object while I'm doing my gripping. That if eventually in your main section, you might get a small object. Pencils probably aren't big enough. We need like a ball, but that's okay. Okay, so the signal check says 2 seconds after recording starts. I'm going to zoom in right here. Clench my fist for 2 to 3 seconds and then release. Stay here. I'm going to need you for a second. So here you go. So okay. Zoom way in. We're going to get, I'm going to click check signal, and as soon as I hit click check signal, you're going to zoom out. Okay? Ready? Okay. Let's say check signal. Now this prompts me. After clicking OK, wait 2 seconds, and then I'm going to clench my hand. So we'll try to get my hand and the computer in the whole screen. I'll try to get my hand out. Got it zoomed in enough?
Yeah.
It's harder to do.
It's good.
Okay, so I'm going to say OK. And you want to see what's on the screen there. And now I'm going to clench. There's my clench. Okay, and now I'm releasing. And there's my data. So you can zoom in and see right where I started to clench, there was a little more staticky look than when I was not clenching. And what you always want to do here is they give you an example of a good signal check. So we just check the signal and we don't know, is that a good signal? We don't know. Click down here and kind of compare it. So this is some other person's example. There's the example data. And then I kind of look at mine. Now, what's often going to happen is your signal isn't quite as perfectly robust as theirs, but I would consider this a good enough signal because it starts kind of flatliney looking and then it gets buzzy. And then when I finally released way here near the end, it got flat again.